now that we've got a chance to see and hear these pedals on bass drums and some of the things that I was showing you earlier, let's get Tammy, my camera person, and I a detailed look for you guys to see what it is that makes these pedals so special and so easy to work with. All right, first of all, this is Trick's first pedal. This is called the Pro 1V. As you can see, the footboard has a heel plate. This is not a long heel or not a long footboard like the later versions we're going to take a look at, but this has a heel plate. Also, I want you guys to take notice, I've taken off the round butt plate on this to expose the assembly here on why this pedal feels the way it does. If you'll notice that as I depress this footboard, we are moving this assembly to affect the compression spring. We no longer, let me bring a PDP pedal into the field of view here, is a good pedal. As you can see, it's a chain drive. The cam is also chain driven. And what you see here is the typical expansion spring. So there's a difference between this, which you can hear that, and then I go back down to the Trick pedal, and of course it's silent. The feel of this is going to be smoother and faster and quieter than the feel of an expansion spring, but that's what we're looking at right now, the difference. All right, let me get this out of the way again, and let me show you a couple things that you can do to adjust this pedal as you play, while you're playing. I mean, now that's what's totally cool about this pedal. You'll notice this knob right here. As I turn right, righty-tighty, lefty-loosey, this affects the tension on that compression spring. As I loosen it, it becomes very, very slack. Now, you notice I did this all while I was playing. Cannot do that with any other pedal on the market. While I'm playing, talk about being able to adjust the tension on the fly. This is one of the big pluses for me when I saw this. You can put your foot right on here and go, yes, 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 no, no, yes, no, yes, yep, yep, right there. Boom, there it is. Now let's also take another look at one of the things that makes this pedal unique, in that on the bottom I take an Allen wrench and I'll go ahead and I'll loosen up these bolts right here. Now watch what happens when I turn this pedal around. Now look at this assembly. It's going to slide. As I'm going to grab a hoop here, hopefully stay in the field of view, but as I put this pedal right onto this hoop, I can actually move this pedal back and forth, get exactly where I want this beater to be on the bass drum head. Then I simply turn it upside down and tighten it where I want this guy. And that makes this a hardwired adjustment onto your hoop. No longer are you having to slide this thing back and forth and adjust. Boom. This piece will do this for you. Figure that out. Now look at this. This piece right here is a hard spring assembly that if I get this up to the hoop, clamp it on, it's off. Whereas if I bring into view this guy, and you'll notice this hoop clamp, it's a nice one. It has to be tightened, like most of them, with either a drum key or a wing nut, and you're down there bing, 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 taking up setup time. This pedal assembly, this part of the assembly right here, saves you about 4 or 5 minutes. You get this thing adjusted, snap, you're in place. Now let's take a look also here. There's numbers. What these numbers represent are actually inches away from the head, the throw length of this beater. Another really cool thing about this beater, you schmancy schmancy, look what Mikey made for me, my own special drum key. But if I take this beater and I want to, just for sake of, because I'm used to something else, and I want to get rid of it, let's take a look at some of these other beaters. Every single beater on the market, I have yet to find one that doesn't fit, fits into this. This is a slug beater, this is a plain old felt round beater. They all fit, no problem. So this is a universal, it's not proprietary size hole, this is a universal size hole. I can also get into even some of the Dominator beaters, which we'll get into a little bit later. But now let's take a look at this guy. You can order these weight sleeves, which I have, because I like to have the ability to have a lot of thump on the end of my beater, so slide one of those guys on, and you have the ability to move this guy wherever you want. For me personally, I like them down low. Another cool thing is look at this. This assembly right here allows for you to put the beater into place, slide this bugger right onto a bass drum head, and then I'll take my drum key and I'll loosen this. Now this whole thing slides up and down, moves back and forth. Totally awesome, totally cool to get an adjustment on the beater right where it hits the bass drum head, exactly the same hit every time. A very, very friendly beater and a very, very accurate attack on the head. So that's really cool too. Now, what I'll show you too, which is really, really fast and easy to adjust on this pedal, is how I get the distances to and from the footboard. You notice that the footboard's coming up and down. And keep in mind too that I have numbers to make note of what they're always going to be. Let's say I like a high footboard, bingo, there it is, high footboard, done, and vice versa. Now what I want to do is also, let's say we get our footboard set on the length that we like. Now let's say I want my beater really far back, because I like a long throw, not a problem, done. Look at how fast I've adjusted this pedal. And another thing you can do is, first of all, you want a trick pedal because A, it's going to last forever. B, there's a guarantee and it's ironclad. 3, it's a superior feel. Once you get used to this compression spring, you are going to never want to go back to anything. And believe me, I played expansion springs all my life. I mean, 1,000 years old I am, and I've been playing these guys. As soon as I put my foot onto this, it was a complete different ball game. Fast, smooth, tricky. Now, one thing that's really interesting about this particular pedal